You're listening to Paratalk Radio with Ted Wolf and Psychic Cindy on paratalkradio.com, a member of the WLFE digital broadcast family, and is intended for listeners over 16. The topics, views, and opinions expressed on our show may not necessarily reflect the views or opinions of Paratalk Radio, our hosts, or our sponsors. Now, here are your hosts, Ted and Cindy.
Hi, everybody! Hi, Chris! Hi, Teddy Poo Poo!
Hey, what's up?
I miss you guys. Where's my John?
He's downstairs.
Oh, that John.
Do you like the hat I'm sporting?
I can't see. Let me take my glasses off.
Yeah,
I do like it so much.
It's
I
my.
do.
It's
my
my.
grandpa used to wear some hats like that.
Oh, now you're telling me I'm your grandfather. Oh, come on, no, I'm not that old.
You're a big guy, 25. Yeah.
Yeah.
My grandpa liked hats, and he was about your age when I first met him. So.
Well, this is my Irish. Well, this is what I'm going to be taking with me to Ireland in next summer. So I needed a hat.
Nice.
I probably have to buy another one because I'm wearing this like everything except bed. Oh, where the hell did Cindy go? She left me. Uh-oh. Well, Chris, you didn't leave me. I guess that's okay.
I'm here.
She must have hit a button or something. She flew the nest. Wait, here she comes. She's okay. So what?
This stupid thing. I'm forever doing that. I swear to you.
Yeah, blame it on the thing. So, real quick, we're gonna take just a couple.
I could blame it on the rain.
There you go. Before we get
blame it on the rain.
We'll let Chris is like, yeah, whatever. I just had this discussion with him about a crow mating with a cardinal, and like it really matters. Anyways, she's. But before we get into this with Chris, and I don't want to leave him hanging. That's why he's there, and he's being very polite and being very professional, of just kind of like sitting there and being what. He's chicken. Do you need a lift?
Go my way, buddy.
No, he just was doing a hanging sign. I don't like that one.
Oh, jeez.
Mom.
So Cindy, before we get into Chris, before we talk with Chris, what have you been doing?
Me?
Yeah.
Let's see. Only today, I've done dishes. I did laundry at 2:00 in the morning.
Well, that's about enough for your time. That's all we got. So I just wanted to say,
Lord have mercy. You give him his own show, and look what he does to you.
I miss you so much that I have to pick on you. I'm sorry.
I know. I totally miss you too.
I mean,
I do.
Yeah, we don't get to do. I'm trying to get you to come out and talk with Teddy, but you're like so busy.
I tried. You didn't even put me on there.
I didn't see you.
Yes, you did. It was with Melanie and what's her name?
Did I?
And Jenna. And you put fucking what's his name on there? Kenny Biddle in there.
Such language already. We haven't even started really.
Listen, you told me come on because the girls are going to be here, and so then I go there, and he doesn't give me the code, and he just makes me spectate. I'm like, listen, I have better things to do than spectate.
Just make some space. You're good. Your side of the room would be okay.
Go get in your corner. Damn it, get in your corner.
So funny. I can't hear that great with these.
You know how it is. I love you.
I love you too. Hang on, I got to switch my earbuds around, see if this will help.
Well, you're having a hard time hearing?
Oh, that's better, yeah. Yeah, these earbuds aren't the greatest, but... Well, they were the greatest.
Yeah, at one time, right?
The greatest. Yeah, well, my son's got a hold of them.
Well, it's kind of a really cool night. It's been a somewhat nice day. It hasn't been too bad. Some rain, half the day, sunshine. But But Chris DiCesare is like, we love him. We had to have him back.
He's sunshine.
And again, look at him.
Yeah.
The love.
He's sunshine.
We love Christopher.
Oh my God, I do love Chris so much. He knows that.
And I don't know why.
I should record this. It sounds good.
He does. He's like, Teddy and Cindy. Yeah, I guess.
I'll do it.
I gotta see which way I gotta point. There you guys are, that way.
He's like, yeah. Yeah, you're just kind of like, oh.
Yes, good job. Chris has the easy one.
Chris can just elbow us and go, cut it out.
Cut it out. My grandma used to elbow us.
Work, I tried.
All right, so let's get into this. Chris, what have you been up to? What's going on in your neck of the woods?
Well,
yeah, how you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. It's a strange life, right? That we're quarantined. But as a school teacher, we have distance learning programs going on. So we go on Google Classroom and we put work on for the students. We go live with them for class periods during the week, Monday through Thursday, and we still instruct them that way. It's not quite the same as being there with them in the room, but it's a way to keep education going. And the kids, the students actually like to see teachers now and then because it's continuity. And
right.
It's cool being home for one day from school, but after a month no school, it's they kind of miss their friends and phys ed and art and some of the interactions. So we do what we can to try to meet their educational needs, and it's cool. It's fun because I can be in my own room right here, in my own man cave, and teach them here.
Your studio. When I first brought you on, your little studio.
What?
Yeah. Hey, I got this is important. I got to get in my little studio.
It's a cool place. You know what I mean?
It's a cool place.
That's right.
Let me say the hellos to some of the people that are popping on here right now. We got Michelle Millins. We have Chanel Fletcher, Kathy DeGraw, Barry.
Hey, Chanel.
Robert White, Kathleen Wilson, Michelle Prevost. Sorry. No,
Did you say Barry?
Barry. Yes, I did say Barry.
Okay, I didn't hear you.
I love berries to eat, but not.
Me too.
Berries.
He's awesome.
Larry Tesser, and look at that, Psychic Cindy, John Covey, Steve.
Wait, what? I'm on there?
I just threw your name in.
Not cuss. Oh my gosh, did you see what Chanel said? She said, I love Kenny B. LOL, your sassy mouth. Love you, Cindy.
Steve Barry, John Anderson.
Oh, Jackson came in as I said and said I owe him a quarter. It's on its way.
Larvia. I'm torturing these names. I'm so sorry. Pam Phillips, Tanya Beach, which is my cousin's daughter. Hello, family, actually popping in here. Diane McCarthy. How are you, Diane? Haven't seen or heard from you in a while. Oh, Miss Pamela Berry from Gettysburg Ghost Exchange.
Hi,
Pam. Pat Claude. And everybody's like, oh, Jolene. Oh, man.
Jolene. Jolene. Sorry. I'm not sorry.
Jolene. I'm not even going to attempt it. I'm just going to say hi, Jolene. Marilyn Denniston and David Littlefield. So they're all in.
David.
They're still coming in. We'll get back to some of y'all and a few here once we get going. Tom Nally. There's my little buddy, Tom. All right. So what?
Robert said, Chanel said, Robert, you make my heart smile. Aw.
Oh, you two can flirt on your own time.
We can do what?
No, those two can flirt on their own time.
Oh my gosh, I need to show you all of my really cool stuff. Look at this whole box of stuff right here.
Oh, shoot. She got you a bunch of stones and stuff?
I bought a bunch of stuff.
Nice. Scott Wells, Francis Dykstra, which is actually my aunt's family, I guess related by marriage to me somehow. And Alex, hey Alex, long time no see. So LOL, too funny, you guys. I know we're funny. Yeah,
we're something.
Yeah, we are something. So as paranormal goes, I mean, I'll be honest with both of you, and you can chime in on this. I've been watching YouTube and I've been watching Facebook, and the amount of teams that are still out there investigating, like through this.
What?
Yeah.
While COVID's going on?
Yeah, while COVID's going on, it kind of disappoints me a little.
What in the hell is wrong with them?
You know, I understand being cooped up and like what Chris was saying about school and the kids and all that stuff, but we still, you know, the state doesn't help. The government doesn't help because they started opening up things like today, transportation. The buses were out picking up people on the side of the road and taking them to destinations. And I'm thinking,
here in Rochester?
In New York, yeah. So it's kind of like, you know, is it safe?
In New York City or here?
Here. I just passed a bus that was picking up people. You know.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah. So I don't know. I really don't know. I put out a post basically and said, hey, if you guys believe that the COVID is a lie, I want to know. If you've got a conspiracy theory, I want to know, because we'll do it. We'll put them on Paratalk Radio and we'll talk about it, you know, and see what everybody has to say, because there is a lot of different things being said out there. That's beautiful.
Isn't that so cool?
Yeah.
This was a present from Chanel.
Oh,
it's got the moon in it.
Nice. But yeah, it's she's showing her rocks again. You stoner. Anyways.
It's so funny. Jansen said that to me earlier. He's like,
it says that's.
Are you getting my girlfriend stoned? He said.
I
said, I sure am.
Actually answers here and he says, that's effed. I personally go investigate the cemetery, but that's by myself. Spirits don't carry viruses. Well, how do you know, Steve? How do you know they don't carry viruses, mister?
Right. I mean, they could.
David Littlefield says, yep, Cindy the stoner.
Beautiful. I'm playing with my stones.
You know, we could just like let you like mute you and you can play over there and play with your stones, you little stoner, by yourself, you know.
Look at this ball, though. I got some blue ball in my hand.
Yeah, we're not touching that. Yeah, apparently.
You're not touching with a 10-foot pole. Nope, you're not.
Because
you're not here.
Nathan Gaylor, Kenny Irish. Quite a few still popping in here, which is great. But, you know, my point to that whole little story was what are you guys thinking about this? I mean, do you think it's still too early to go out there and start doing all this stuff? I mean, they just opened a beach, and did you see that video with hundreds of people on the beach out there not wearing masks and not doing anything, just going out there partying with each other?
Wait, but here in New York or
no
someplace else?
Beaches? No, I mean, not like, no, I think it was
Florida. I know Florida opened beaches up, and I think they're dumb as fuck.
What do you think, Chris?
Oh, it's a hornet's nest, because you have to weigh the health of the population versus economic survival of the population. So, and because we're a free society and we're a Democratic Republic, people kind of exercise their free will, and sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad.
Right.
You know, where this kind of crossed the line, though, is that your actions could affect somebody else. So if your actions affect anybody, go for it, go to it. But you're taking risks every time you do leave your home, and maybe you're fine. Maybe you're not suffer from that. Maybe just carry it. But the risk is you'll bring it home to grandma or to somebody who has underlying health condition, and so it's a tough thing. But I can see it growing the stress on people in terms of wanting to go to work and make money, and we get so used to having everything we want around us all the time with convenience. We have a hard time sometimes when we can't do what we want to do, even for good reasons. So you'll see some stressors.
Right.
One of my ex-students, this is really sad. She was killed by her boyfriend, just recently, domestic violence. So,
wow.
In the room. So, it's a tough thing. Young girl, 22. So it's a tough thing sometimes. And, we sometimes have hard times with our emotions on a good day. And so if you're fearful of getting sick, if you're losing people in your life, if you can't go to work, you can't pay your bills, it can be tough. And so this is where things like your show come into play, where you have entertainment. You can talk about things and think thoughts for a while and laugh a little bit, because we're humans. We need the emotion. We need some happiness in our lives, some escape from what we're experiencing every day.
Well, to add to that, I mean, if you just look at the basics of humans, okay, we need human touch. We are a social creature, and we need that stuff. We need to communicate. We like to touch each other. We like to be around each other. We like to socialize. It's who we are. And for us to be put in like, everybody stay home, don't leave your homes. Could you imagine on the other side of that, where it was like I don't know, the armies in our driveways or in our roads telling us we couldn't leave at gunpoint and all that other stuff because the virus just won't go away. I mean, we're looking at martial law if things don't calm down, I think, in some sense. And if we just keep going and spreading the disease, what's going to happen? Do we let another 50 to 70,000 people die because, you may think you're okay, but you're affecting somebody else that you don't even know. I mean, I don't want to be responsible for bringing this home to my parents and killing my parents.
Right.
I couldn't live with myself. I simply couldn't,
Well, what pisses me off is like my daughter went to, her in-laws, and I was so irritated because now she's in Newark and I'm like, Jessica, you're supposed to stay home. Do you understand what, social distancing means? It means don't go around people. I said, this is bull crap. I said, because now you think you're going to come around me. I said, that's not fair, Jessica. You could get me, you could get the boy sick, you could get grandma sick. And that makes me irritated because I see my mom, if I'm lucky, once a week. I haven't seen my mom this whole week because the last time I went out was a week ago Sunday to go grocery shopping. I haven't gone grocery shopping since. And, I don't go out unless I absolutely need to. Okay, so I did go out on Sunday, but I played Pokemon Go in my car.
By yourself. Yeah.
By myself.
Steve Berry just made a comment here. It says, we accepted 30% of martial law with no question. And in some sense, we did. I agree with that because we listened to what the government said, and the government said, we need you to help us not spread this virus. Stay at home, do not go to work. We'll pay you to stay home, because that's essentially what they did for the people that weren't essential. They said, hey, let's give them a paycheck, and who knows when it's going to run out. We have no idea, but I have to think in some sense they're doing what they think is necessary to protect us. And what do? We should play along with it. If anything, if you have this conspiracy theory, we should play along with it for now and see where it goes. But if it comes down to the point where, instead of being at 70,000 people dying in the United States, what happens when it's 150,000? What happens when it finally hits a million?
Right.
That's the scary part. And I said to you, Cindy, like 3 weeks ago, I didn't want to talk about COVID, but it's coming to the point where we have to say something, because right now, our own fans, our people that are watching us, they are doing what we are doing. And there might be one out of 10 that isn't, or maybe 1 out of 20 or 1 out of 100 that isn't. And the point is, with this whole topic is, guys, remember, you're not affecting just you. You may be fine, but you could be asymptomatic. You could have this and not even know, and you go and you affect somebody else. And do you want to be responsible for killing your own mother, your own father, your own niece or nephew because you had a virus and you couldn't stay home? That's all I'm saying. So, but yeah, it's Alex says that we hit 1 million cases today in the United States. So that's crazy. That's totally crazy.
There's a lot of things that are being said. Chanel, I'm so sorry to hear about your great grandma, but that's amazing, and I'm sorry to hear about her husband. But this is the thing is, Barry says, I think South Carolina, Georgia, and Oklahoma have opened up businesses, etc. Montana, Arkansas, and some other states have opened up today. And he said it's controversial to him. Hey, Jamie.
Oh, we lost her again.
Where did she go? Does she have food over there to know about? What's going on? It's not fair.
She's going to continue to do that all night. But, I didn't want to make a big deal out of it, but I just wanted to get it out of the way because I knew we were going to end up talking about it at some point tonight. That's the way it happens. We try to throw a good show together, and no matter what, we end up getting brought back to the subject. So I figured we'd get out of the way in the beginning of the show so that we can – Tom Nally's like, when Cindy disappeared, he's like, go.
Exactly, because I hit the chat button at the bottom. So for me, my chat, because I'm using my phone, is on the bottom. So every time I hit the chat button to come in and out, it hits my freaking back button, and so then it kicks me out.
All right, there's a question for you, Chris. What's in your tank?
That is a Siamese fighting fish, a betta. It's a female. And in their natural environment in Thailand, it used to be Siam back in the day, They live in rice paddies, and so they like water between 2 and 4 inches in height. They like lots of leaves, so it looks like it's a swamp, but that's how they like the water that way. And they hide underneath the pads and things like that. And in years past, I'd breed them. I'd have a male and a female and breed them and had to fry. And I'd sell them at stores with my friends. But I did now. So yeah, that's the cute little fish. I love her. When I was
Wait, so you said that's a Siamese fighting fish?
Yes, it's female.
Beta?
Yes.
Awesome. We used to have betas too. When I was younger.
You put the disc in it and you could watch TV. You could watch the movies.
It wasn't a disc. It was a smaller version of a VHS tape.
Whatever.
Because we had those too.
I was trying to
We had lots of betas around my house.
I was trying to be funny.
Your humor wounded me. Ow. It hurts in this area here where our brain should be.
David Littlefield says, has anyone tried to sue the ship liner for letting the ones off the ship when they knew of the ones infected with the virus? Unfortunately, you would have to ask somebody that really is in depth with that, because I have no idea. I'll be honest with you, David. I watch the Governor Cuomo stuff in the morning or real late when he comes on, because he usually does 2 broadcasts a day and tells us what's going on, what he's doing, and so on and so forth. And that's pretty much what I do. And that's because, I live with my parents. They're in their 80s. They have health issues. I want to make sure that they know what's going on, so that if I have to prepare for something for my parents and all that other stuff. And, just before somebody asked, yes, I was working and I had to take self-quarantine. So, because a lot of people have been asking me on my other show too, is I took the self-quarantine only because the fact is that, like I said prior, I could be asymptomatic. I don't think I am, because nobody's sick. But what if I was out working and I caught it from somebody and then I brought it home to my parents? I didn't want to take that chance. And when the governor says, hey, if you are taking care of some elderly, if you live with elderly, let's do this. We'll pay you to stay home, take care of your parents so that you don't bring the virus home. So that's what I chose to do. And I think it was a smart choice. And I'm going to continue to practice safe distancing and all that stuff the best way that I can. I mean, and I think that's all any of us can do. All right. So I'm going to leave it at that, guys. And I think we're going to hop off that subject. I know that you guys are still chatting about it and stuff, and I appreciate it. But we wanted to address this, and we did. And now we're moving on.
Moving right along. We're footloose and fancy free.
All right, Chris. So, how are things been with like your talks and stuff? Have you been able to do anything online with interviewing with other people, like what you're doing with us today, at least? I mean, have you been able to keep up with some of it? No,
I've been like a hermit. I've just really kind of enjoyed the quiet and the peace of it. I'm taking some online college courses, biology, English.
Fantastic.
Doing that, so that kept me kind of busy, and I've been working on some books, some writing, and mostly what I've been doing is I've been preparing for my granddaughter and daughter and my son-in-law to move back to New York. They're coming back to New York in a few months, and that makes me so happy.
Oh, that's cool. I'm glad. I mean, I keep seeing the post of you with the little one. And it's so funny because you're like a big kid, literally. Yeah. You're a big kid. And
oh my gosh, who wouldn't want Chris as a grandpa? For God's sake, he's fun-sized.
Yeah, I know. I do strange things sometimes. You never know what's gonna happen next. I don't even understand.
That was fantastic. Chanel, what kind is this? I don't remember what this one's called. I love this little one. Do you see it, you guys?
Yeah, it's cute. I don't have the Godzilla noise here. I would play it when you put little Godzilla across.
Wait, why don't you? John's over there. Oh no, John's downstairs, right?
Damn.
This is beautiful. I love this one.
Wait a minute, let me see if I can find it. And I'll find it while we're talking, but then the next time I'll give you stuff and then you can.
I'm just going to show stones too. Oh my God, that's fantastic, Chris.
You know what, Chris? That reminds me of when you were taking photos.
Yes, yes. He would just show this tie up.
Cookie
monster.
Yeah, when I FaceTime with my granddaughter, I do the puppets and things with her, and
cute.
Interesting.
That's awesome. That's cool. And those little things like that, especially when you're stuck in home, is so important. it's like I finally got my parents to understand, hey, there's something called a tablet. And Mom's like, a tablet? What do you mean? Something you write on? I'm like, no. And I got her a tablet and I said, we could call your sister and she could see you and you could see her and you could actually. So we did it the other day. And then today she did it with one of her nieces and her other sister. And, the joy that they get on their faces when they haven't seen a family member in so long. And
I know.
It's just amazing. It's so it almost tears you up to some point because they're like, oh my God, how are you?
Unless you're a heartless bastard.
Yeah. Barry says the whole show ate brownies today. Huh? Oh,
I want a brownie now.
You better explain yourself. And C for cookie. Yes, you're
C
right.
is for cookie.
But no, that's cool. So actually, I've been doing this damn thing is loose as hell. So it's like flopping. It's going to break my tooth or something. Anyways.
Stop hitting your mouth on it. That's my job.
Yeah, I know.
But I'm not there, so you're doing it for me. You're so cute.
Jeannie Perry. Oh my God. I haven't heard that name in probably 5 or 6 years. Oh my God. That's awesome. Kevin Butler. Hello. Let's see. Chris Thale. Hello. How are you? Kimberly Quackenbush.
I love her last name, Quackenbush.
I do too. It's like, here comes the
crack that bush. I'm sorry. I mean, what?
Here comes the
sorry.
Let out.
I love it. Bush. I'm a naughty person, just so you know.
We know.
I can turn anything sexual. Seriously.
I know. We should give you.
I think like a guy.
You could be the new Dr. Ruth and start your own podcast.
I'm telling you, I want to.
Okay.
Mine is going to have sex in it too. Of course.
Of course, if it's not. You're killing me because that's what I was setting you up for is like a show like you were the next Dr. Ruth.
I am going to be the next Dr. Ruth.
There you go.
Westheimer.
There you go. So, Chris, I've been watching like stalking you a little bit too. I always love watching, your posts and stuff like that. And, I try to, you're my friend. So I do it with a lot of my friends. I kind of, check out Cindy's and, when she's got a live.
Cindy's boring.
A lot of different people. But as I started saying in the beginning of this, the amount of people that are out there doing ghost hunting still is kind of bothersome a little bit. But at the same time, I understand that that's what they do. That's like that's an extreme hobby in some sense. And they're out there doing their ghost hunts. And and I will say this, even though I may not agree with it, some of these have been like one person or two people going out, like a husband and wife team going out. They live with each other in the same household. They go out to a location, they take their cameras and they record it.
I can understand that. That's fine.
Yeah. But I guess the point to this is that they're trying to keep the interest of ghost hunting and paranormal investigation alive by doing this stuff. And I get it. And the paranormal isn't going to go away, folks. I mean, it's always going to be there. I mean, Chris, how do you
because there's always going to be dead people.
There you go.
That's terrible, Cindy. Cindy's terrible. It's fine.
Let's just say what's on your mind, Cindy. Let's not,
Look at this, Teddy.
Yeah, I see. That's kind of cute. But
it is. It's a pendulum.
That's nice.
I love this. It's lapis lazuli on both.
Yeah, Cindy, it's not show your stones, thing. We're supposed to be interviewing here.
At least I'm not showing something else.
That's true. Yeah, John's in the background going, I'll watch that. I'm sure you would.
This is my last thing.
That's your last thing. Then we can get on with the show?
I'm just doing it while you guys are talking. It's fine.
Okay.
So you guys can go see Chanel. She does stone auctions, and oh my gosh, I got all of these pieces from Chanel.
There you go.
Oh, I forgot. I did forget something else. All of my fun stones, and I sent my girlfriend. I sent Valerie, my girlfriend Valerie. See, they're all in this bag. I sent my girlfriend Valerie some stones too, and she loved them.
Steve Barry says it's the Ted Show and the Cindy Stone Show at the same time. Paratalk for those with AHAD.
Ernie.
Isn't that Grover? No.
Yeah. Oh, no, that's Ernie Grover, yeah. It is not Grover here.
Super Grover or something. Yeah, I never know how.
Oh, no, that's Scooby. Sorry.
It is not Grover here.
Oh, my God.
Listen, I never said my impersonations were good.
I thought you said you were done.
I said I forgot about this bag of stones. These are called garden quartz. They're so pretty. Anyway, so I sent some to my girlfriend, too. And she got them today as well, and we just loved them.
Okay. All right. So, do you want to talk to Chris? Do you have any questions for Chris while you're playing with your stone?
Oh, Chris, what do you have?
I don't know.
Oh, that's I know what that is. That's Amazonite.
Is that good?
Oh, I love Amazonite.
Oh,
it sure looks like it could have been. Actually, that could have been Larimar.
You don't want me to say
I don't know what that one is. I can't. What color is it, Chris? Oh, is that green and a pink?
Yeah.
In there? That one looks like Unakite.
I got a lot of.
Oh, I love all your stones.
Yeah. I got a few.
Chris is now a stoner too.
This is my favorite one.
The stones.
Oh wait, that's not a stone. Never mind. Sorry, it's some kind of strange fish.
Oh wait, is it a little bird or something?
I think it's a fish.
Yeah,
oh, I see. Yes, I see it. Yeah. Cute.
Oh my God.
I love we're sharing.
Oh,
I like your globe in the back.
Oh, thanks. Yeah.
You.
The whole world's there. It's being held up by Iron Man. If you can see him back there. This is
what?
This is my action figure from when I was a little kid. From the 70s.
Oh my God, that's fantastic.
Yeah, it's not a doll, it's an action figure, Dad.
I have toys in my bedroom.
So there you go. Oh.
I do. I have Wonder Woman. I have a Wonder Woman print that was made for me.
Another news.
This stings.
You were being so good about this, so relaxed, so fun, not taking the show seriously,
I love that he's playing with Sesame Street characters.
I don't have any more. Oh wait, I do.
Kermit the Frog. That was what's his name saying it. Grover saying Kermit the Frog.
Yes.
Oh my God. Hello, Tara. Hello, Nick. There's a bunch of you that I missed, and I'm sorry.
Oh my gosh, there's 20 comments. Holy cow, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Okay, so Barry asked what was the black and white mineral. It was actually this one, and it is that's actually black tourmaline in quartz. So pretty.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So let's see. I don't know what she's asking. Oh, pot brownie.
No, guys.
Yeah, the teardrops are dream amethyst. Oh, that was Picasso Jasper. Thank you so much. It was beautiful. I love that one. I don't have that.
Yeah.
And Barry, I'm so sorry that your mom is in the nursing home. It's a really tough situation. I have a friend that his mom is in the nursing home and can't go see them right now.
Yeah, the nursing home situation for that whole thing is really bad right now.
Yeah.
So bad.
Yeah, I mean, and that's where what you said with your mom with the tablet, that's what my friend does with his mom. She doesn't want to have anything to do with, the freaking tablets and technology. But when she gets to be able to see all of her kids, because they have made a Zoom conference, that makes it better for her.
Yeah. Well, that's the best that we can do. Bottom line is that with this whole social distancing thing that we should be following and all this other stuff, you got a tablet or a phone, a smartphone, call them up and do it that way. I mean, I know you miss them and stuff. And I know, even with the good weather that's coming, I know it's coming sometime. But anyway.
One of these days it'll come here.
But, just remember, you still have to social distance. You still have to wear a mask.
Mm-hmm. Hi, Kristen.
Just take care of yourselves and the people around you. Just be aware of that. That's all I'm saying. All right. So
Yeah.
I want to kind of come back. Like, Chris, we interviewed you 4 years ago. I did.
Wow.
On Paratalk Radio. God, it was a long time ago, 4 years ago. And we had talked about your story. We had talked about what happened to you. And besides, being a grandpa now. But, we talked about all that stuff. And, back then, and I know we didn't talk about it much, but back then when your whole situation was happening, and I actually hopped on your situation, and I was doing an investigation at Sullivan's campaign when it was coming through with Thomas Boyd and Parker, and going down through the torture tree in Kylerville and all that stuff. And I sent you an EVP of a voice
Way back.
right. And it was kind of weird for me, like when I watched the video of your movie that you gave me. Was it Talk to Me? I think it was
Talk with me.
Please Talk with Me. There was that one section, and yeah, we hear you, Cindy, making a lot of noise. Anyways, there was that one section where the figure was standing there and the head was kind of, crooked a little bit. And that whole EVP I sent you, it just kind of fit to me in that situation where it said, help me.
Right.
And it was weird that I caught it. And then your mom had caught some type of, there's something to where you guys may have been related to Boyd.
Oh, yeah. It's interesting how sometimes you don't understand the familial connections that you have for those things. But on my mother's side, going back 240 years now, it turns out that my ancestors, Adam and Bernard Hubley, the two of them found Thomas Boyd's body. They were his friends in the same regiment from Pennsylvania, but I had no clue. How'd you know that from 1779, But doing some genealogy, she was doing genealogy, and she began kind of slow, we had some relatives that fought in the Revolutionary War. Oh, they're from Pennsylvania. Then I remember when I was talking to this ghost toward the end, trying to resolve the haunting, I asked where it was from, and he said Danville, and turns out Boyd's from Danville, Pennsylvania, so it's... But I found that
That's
stuff
crazy.
25 years later after the fact, But eventually answers come to you,
Yeah, it's kind of cool, like how, and it does take a long time. Sometimes when you're trying to piece things together, it may be 5 years, 10, 40 years, 100 years before you get that next piece of the puzzle. And it's amazing. That's like, I like for paranormal investigators or ghost hunters, that's why I always preach to them in some sense and say, save your research. Try your best. Put it on a file, put it on a disk, put it on a thumb drive. Save it, because you never know when something else is going to come up that might type,
right.
And
now, have it logged very well.
Right. One of the things that I found interesting, Chris, was with that whole location with the torture tree and Thomas Boyd and Parker, was that the tree that they were tortured on actually is not there. That tree actually fell into when that big hole opened up. Right. And
is that where the salt mines were that caved in and stuff?
It all went down into that, but they kind of named this other tree the torture tree.
Contemporary to it, that's why.
Right. And we actually, on one of our studies of that, we actually brought in the Seneca Indians from the reservation. We had a couple of them come up and do one of their rites and that stuff at that park, and kind of show us the truth, like their stories and how it's passed down and what they know of the story of Thomas Boyd and Parker about the whole thing. And I someday, Chris, I want to sit down and share that whole thing with you, because it ties into your story in some way, shape, or form. And I really, really think that's important, that when we look at evidence, when we look at stories, it isn't just this way, it's this way. There's so much more that's connected. And you went through hell with your case. Now, just in case some people aren't familiar with Chris, he is called the Ghost Boy of Geneseo. That's because he was the kid at the time. It was 1985, I believe, that he was attacked in his dorm at the Geneseo University, SUNY Geneseo, by a ghost, is what we're going to call it. And he was attacked, and brutally attacked, not just emotional stuff. He physically was attacked. And there's a big difference between being physically attacked and just having things thrown at you, or just hearing things or somebody whispering in your ear or something like that. When it crosses that border, it actually crosses the border more into a poltergeist activity. And I can't imagine. I mean, still going back to the story, which you've told probably a million times, the passion that you
This is 1,028,000.
Okay. And the passion that you have about telling the story and getting that out to people, I believe I heard you say that the reason you do this and why you tell your story is just in case somebody else may be going through something similar. Is that true?
Yeah, I think that's important. You know, sometimes if you go through a crisis, a trauma, you don't want to share it because it might make you embarrassed. It might have in some way mostly hurt you or physically hurt you. You want to keep it a secret and go it alone. But I've learned that being able to share feelings, being able to share an experience, and saying I survived it is very important. And if what I went through, if I can, through my discussions, talks, chats, books, movies, whatever, TV shows, help somebody get through a difficult moment, I want to do that. And, you know, my situation was rare in that it's a full-body apparition that actually we could have pictures of it, audio recordings of it, and interaction with many people. So my X to solve for was a ghost, but we all have traumas in our life. It could be health issues. It could be loss of a parent. It could be going bankrupt. It could be being sick. It could be going through a divorce. I mean, we all go through trauma, and so we all need to be able to compartmentalize, to be able to move forward, to taste our food, to listen to music, and to move beyond having to define who you are. The weird thing for me was that the newspapers, people around me, defined me as the ghost boy. I don't like that. But two decades later, I realized that I can look at that ghost boy name that was put on me and embrace it. That name, if that name helps people reach out and talk to their father again or reconnect with their children again, hey, call me what I call me. It's just, you know, that name has been around, the ghost boy, for like almost 35 years now, in papers, articles, things like that. And when I finally started saying who I was and say, yeah, that was me in 2011, I found that people wanted to talk to me, and it was cathartic for me too to be able to share what had happened, you know. And it's a sad situation. It was very difficult, you know. We got through a lot, and I'm proud of that, and it made me appreciate every day. You know? Right.
Well, I want to address Barry here with the comment that he made with Steve Barry, and it's like he's like, wait, did Ted say to use your old data to back something current, so ghosts would wait years to complete a story? No, what I meant, or what I should have said, I guess in another ways, is that you don't throw away the evidence or what you've collected in an investigation, because if you go back and you find some other evidence, you want to compare the evidence, and it may actually link you to something else that had happened in the past, and you just put the two together. And you look at it to see what, how the stories corroborate, how they connect. And so that's why I tell investigators, never throw your stuff out, because you never know. I mean, I've run into cases, to be honest with you, where I've done a location, and I do a lot of residential. So I've done a location that had claims. I did it. I put my work aside, all of my data, and I put it aside. 2 years later, another team called me and said, hey, we heard through the grapevine that you investigated this house. Is there any way that you, like, after we do our investigation, you share your findings to see if what we've got, if they piece together like a puzzle, or do they connect? Is there something similar or so on? So that's what I'm talking about, is you never want to throw anything away. You want to have it there.
Right.
If somebody else just happens to come across a new location, or let's just say the people that were in that residential building, maybe they sold the house and somebody else moved in and started experiencing this stuff, and then a new team comes in. You know, looking at all this stuff and comparing notes is what's important when it comes to this type of investigation and this field, because, folks, let's be real. Let's be completely 100% real here. We have no proof that ghosts exist. We don't know what they are made of.
We don't have proof that they don't exist either.
True. And the tools that we have they don't read ghosts per se, because we don't know what ghosts are made of. They don't know what they're tracking. They're all guesses. They're the best guesses that we have as the human race in this field. And all we can hope is that in the future we will have something that will, point us to what we really need, to scratch the surface, to give us something to point towards that spirit or that activity or that happening in the home. Stories like what Chris has, where he physically went through something, he mentally went through something. It was devastating for him emotionally. It tore him apart as well, and for him to tell his story several years later to help somebody else out, that is amazing. But we have to look at his story and pick it apart like any other normal, like a doctor would or a psychologist would, and we have to say, what could we use from that? What could we do to help the next person? The same as Chris is saying, here's my story. If you're going through something similar like this, maybe I can help. If anything, maybe I can comfort you a little bit and say, I went through something similar. At the same time, it's helping him decompress. It's helping him get rid of some of that stuff, and it helps. But I just kind of like threw three things in one whole conversation there and mixed it all up and whatever. But you get the point. And but I like Chris because when he speaks, I feel that he's right on the dot, telling the truth. It's the emotion, it's what he experienced, and that in that story can help somebody else. It helps him when he tells the story, and it's something that can help lead this field to the next level. And that's why I love listening to people's stories.
Well, if I can springboard what you said about saving evidence or saving data, back in the late 1990s, I was a caseworker in social services, and I did preventive services, foster care, cases like that. And you always had a case file. And when you first got a case, you'd review the file for old facts, trends, things to take with you in your mind when you're interviewing this family. Because sometimes what happened 10 years ago or 2 weeks ago is relevant to what's happening now in the home. So I think in any field, whether it's science, whether it's psychology, whether it's parapsychology, EVPs, it's good to save data because you don't know when you capture it what it might mean at that point in time. And over time, over experience, you begin to piece things there and say, you know what? Let me go back to this one situation. I was at that cemetery that day, or I was at that abandoned building, or in this person's basement, and I believe I heard the same thing. And so it allows you to connect your evidences. And one of the things you mentioned too is about my experience. And I never use the word story. I never say this is my story because story makes it sound like fiction to me. I say my experience. Right. And the reason is this, because even if I don't see what you're seeing or feel what you're feeling, you're still experiencing things. You watch a movie on TV. You experience what that movie gives you. Even if it's a fictional character like Game of Thrones, it's an experience. Experiences impact you. And so I have found that most people have experiences that connect. Maybe not the same details, the same place, or even the same reaction, but we're experiential as human beings. And we recall experiences. They affect us in some way. And so I like to share my experience, not to say the ghost was this, talking about proofs, not to say I am this, but to share an experience that they might relate to. And my hope is that they can look at their own experiences, good and bad, and say, how can I apply that in my life? Because life can be short. Even if you live 70, 80 years, it goes fast. It gets compressed quickly. You know what I'm saying? And so it'd be wonderful if, as people in any field, we could look back at what we've done and say, well, how can I apply that? What does that mean to me? And you might find that your happiest moments are those sitting back, relaxing in your back porch. Or you might actually like climbing a mountain and getting the thrill of that. You might like to, whatever your passion is, do it. But just don't forget, you're part of a society and people need you and you need them.
Right. Well, I'm sorry I called it a story, but it's
no. I didn't mean to. I make that point because when most people say story because you're used to saying that. People, here's your story. What's your story? But I try very hard to use the word experience because I want people to understand that they might not even believe my story, the facts of it, the people, no matter what I say or do, but they understand it was experience for me. And so by making an experience, not a story, it shares my emotions, my observations, my insights, which is safe for somebody.
Right.
Rather than saying, well, it was this person at this place there, because then you get into all these proofs. But it's like with love. I mean, you really can't prove love per se. You feel love when you feel loved. And some people say, yeah, love, that's just, but you know what you're feeling. And you're going over time to be able to understand what that means and how to deal with that love. Doesn't mean it'll work out, but love feels good. And when you fall in love, it's a problem. You got to share your ideas. You got to share your stuff. You got to compromise. Boo. But at the same time, you might get your heart broken. We fall in love because we want to be loved. We want to be part of someone's life. Where they say to us, I like you for who you are. I like when you smile. I like when you're happy. I like hearing your voice. So we take a risk because it really validates us as a human being.
Right.
I love that analogy.
No.
I mean,
Chris is blushing now because I said
that. Well, I just, I look at it as like when I was doing my casework for the whole thing with Sullivan's campaign, I kept in mind your experience with some of the things that I was working on. Now, again, I'll have to reply to Steve here, and I know that these people are all talking about it as well, but I never myself, I never go into a residential case thinking there's something there. I'm very skeptical.
Right.
I try to do all the homework that I can beforehand. When it comes to debunking this stuff, it goes right along the same lines. We go in, we collect the data, we go back, we write down everything from our personal experiences to what we've captured or caught, or what we think we caught. Most times when we do an investigation, what we're left with is either what I like to call an X-Files, which is something like, well, I'm not sure what this is. We have to go back and do some experiments, see where it falls. Most investigations like that too, you just can't go to this place once and say, okay, this is what it is. Anybody that's a true investigator is going to go back and they're going to look at this case and they're going to tear it apart and put it back together 100 times before they actually can say to their client, this is what I think it is. Debunking the situations goes right along with that, with the noise of like, I don't know, a pipe hitting the floor, when you turn on the water, that whole pipe makes all that noise and people think it's a ghost, or, there's those little washers on the sink. So once in a while, when there's that pressure, it'll actually turn the water on by itself and people don't realize that. So they say it's a ghost. There's a lot of things that we have to keep in mind. So overall, I'm not saying everybody does this when they investigate, but I know for myself, when I do this stuff, I try to be very conscious and aware of all the other things that it could be. Not saying right off the bat it's a ghost, just saying that it could be something else as well. It could be mechanical. It could be whatever. But we have, I think, a good team is made up of professionals, meaning they are people that are in the plumbing field, in the electrical field. I have a police officer on my team, so he reads body language and eye movement, and he does all that as well. I have a young lady that has taken psychology through school. I mean, a lot of psychology, and so she has learned things to where she can take that and use it within our investigations as well. And it took me the longest time to say, let's bring a psychic on board. Let's see what they can add to what we've already got. And so over the time, I've actually loosened up a little bit, I guess is the best way to put it. I'm not so, hard, now I'm astringent.
I can speak.
Yeah. So, I was able to bring in Cindy and say, Cindy, I got this case. Can you give me something to use? Because at this point, we're kind of stuck in a situation where I need more. Can you point me to a direction? I've told her 100 times. I call them arrows. And what arrows are, it may not be exactly the truth, but it may point me, and that's why I call it an arrow, to a direction that we didn't have. And if anything she says can be corroborated and verified, then for me, that gives me that whole other room, I guess the best way to put it, to investigate and dig up and tear apart and put back together. And I think that's what more teams need to look at instead of just being so narrow-minded with it. But Steve Berry says again, did Ted Vanson start as almost a debunker? Ted Vanson was a teenager 12 or 13 in graveyards, sleeping by himself with a big ass recorder with the 2 buttons you push down with a cassette tape, sitting in graveyards talking to leaves and trees and owls and creepy little critters. That's how it started. And then got the shit scared out of me quite a few times. And then, I went from that to doing some more research and thinking, hey, is there a better way to do this? Is there a better way to, discover, to prove, to whatever? So it is what it is. We grow in our own different paths, just like, the roots of a tree or the branches of a tree. We all go our own different directions, and hopefully one day we'll all come together and be able to share what we have,
Can I share what Chanel just wrote too in regard to what Chris was saying?
Sure.
She said, I feel fear when I find myself facing my fears as much as I feel love when I hug someone. I also feel emotions and energy from my rocks and crystals that are as real as others feel with real people. I don't force my views, sensations, or even my point of view as the only truth. I want others to find their truth for themselves, even in the paranormal. I thought that was really great.
That's beautiful, actually.
Yeah, I thought it was fantastic. I thought that, because this is the thing, is we can all be sensitive in some areas and stuff, but it doesn't mean everybody is going to believe what you have to say. And
that's why we always say, Cindy, here at Paratalk Radio, this sounded really cool. And we at Paratalk Radio.
We here at Paratalk Radio.
We always say, what's your truth? Find your own truth. Be comfortable with your own truth. And if that's what it is, then that's what it is. And nobody has to like your truth. That's your truth. To hell with everybody else. That's your truth. And don't push it on somebody else. Hello, Gina Bankston. How are you?
Hi, Gina.
So, the Fox 10 has joined Paratalk Radio. Anyways, but it's all an interesting experience. I myself, when your story, Chris, went to the part where you went in the shower and got attacked, that kind of threw me back when you started telling me that part, because
that's terrifying. Come on.
Terrifying. I mean, as a kid, how old were you? You were like what, 15, 16, 17?
I was 19.
Oh, you were 19?
He was in college.
Yes.
Okay. Oh, yeah.
Geneseo, his college.
At that point, but still, being a teenager and having something throw you around and scratch you, and you not...
Aside from being naked. Okay, can we just talk about that?
Oh,
who the frick? And correct. Now, come on. Is this in the public bathrooms?
Yeah, it's the group bathroom. It's for the
right.
Yes.
So like dorm bathrooms.
Yeah.
Now, mind you, there's a lot of showers for everybody to take a shower. This is terrifying to me that you're in the shower, a public shower, and this happens to you.
Well, right. Although I have to be honest, I didn't care where I was when I was being pressed against the wall. My back was being sliced open. But yeah, looking back, it would have been better someplace, with maybe a shag rug or something. But I didn't. I also wanted to go back to Chanel made the point about the rocks and the stones and vibration things. I think it's great that different people can find beauty and meaning in different things. I think it's the best part about life is that people appreciating other things, other people, other actions were not always appreciated. I love that. And, when that attack happened, it was actually March 10th. Some dates are just ingrained in your head. It was a Sunday. Yes. I'd gone for a long run and I was in the shower because you sweat when you run. And I wanted to clean myself off. And
you didn't want to smell.
The first thing I recall was just seeing the shadow, the silhouette of the ghost on the ceiling. And I thought, well, that's not possible. My light source is above me. My shadow is by my feet on the ground. There's no light source. There can't be a shadow there because the light source is next to it. I thought, that could be the ghost. Then it moved across the ceiling. So I ran out of the shower stall real quick. I almost fell because my feet are wet on the slippery floor. I kept my balance and there it was moving. I thought, oh my gosh, there's no one in the room. So I ran back in the shower to turn the shower off so I can get out of there. Call the priest back and say, try this again, or call somebody. Right. And then turn the water off. It felt like someone had stabbed me with a knife. Fortunately, my feet came off the ground. I smashed against the the shower the wall, and I remember tasting the soap they used to clean the walls with, very, very pungent. And I, in the movies, they always go, "Oh no, don't kill me, please." They fall down, they trip, and it's always, "Are you an Aquarius?" That's some stupid statement. I always told myself, if I will never hit first, but I was taught hit last. My dad always said to me, "Chris, don't hit first, hit last." And so I'm attacked. I don't know who it is, what's going on, but I'm being injured. So I figured I'm going to strike back. So I punched as hard as I could punch, and I tore the shower curtain down, and the bathroom's empty. All I could hear was the water going drip, drip from the faucet where he turned it off. And I screamed, "Who are you? What are you? Show yourself, you coward!" I was just yelling. And then I looked in the mirror above the sink where you shave, brush your hair, and things like that. And I saw them. There was no knife in my back. There were these 3 bleeding wounds. They were roughly parallel and different lengths, and they were beating up blood. And I thought, what? And
my God.
I felt bad for the kid in the mirror. I'm like, he's going to die. You've seen the movies before. He's going to die. And I thought, wait. No, that's me. I don't want to. I didn't do anything wrong. And I felt sorry for myself a little bit. And then, and I don't know how to explain it, if it was the fear, the pain, the shock, whatever it was, it set me down onto the floor of the bathroom, face first, boom, down. And I focused on one image. There was a bead, a droplet of water on my wrist, a little bead of water, like a pear-shaped water. And I looked at that, just kind of glanced at it, because I couldn't move. And I saw the room was upside down. I thought, well, refraction, water reflects and bends the light. That's science. And then the water fell.
Ice cream.
And then that's gravity pulling the water. It's more science for me. I looked down, and the grout was darker from the moisture. All science was working, but I didn't know what was going on, And I thought, I can't do this. I can't every day put my mind back together again. The physical attack, as it was worse here because I can't touch it back. I can't fight back. This thing goes through walls. It's everywhere. It's gonna win. I'm gonna die. I didn't want to die. And at that moment, because people heard me screaming in the bathroom, Jeff came running in and stuff. They pulled me out, put a towel around me and things. But I'll tell you, in that moment, I realized about communication. We can't always express our thoughts. Sometimes they're so deep in us, or they're so embarrassing, or you're so angry, you can't expect people to say, "Well, when I say next time, I'm gonna," then you don't do it, because you have to get in a perfect emotional spot. But I remember telling myself, if I live through this, I'm gonna be thankful. And having done so, I try. I don't always succeed. I try to judge less. I try to accept more. I try to listen a little more. I try to appreciate more. It doesn't always work, but for the most part, it does. And when I work with the students at my school, many of whom are homeless, who've been abandoned, who've been attacked, who all these terrible things, been incarcerated, I know one thing. When I talk to them, they know I care about them. And I try to model good behavior. And I say, listen, whatever happened in the past, I can't fix for you. And neither can you. It's happened. But what you can do is move forward. Every day is a new page in your life's journal. And moving forward, if your parents are bad to you, it hurts, right? Don't be bad to your kids. Give your kids a chance to have what you didn't have. It'll feel so good. So I said, we're going to talk about these things. We'll talk. I try to teach them, not just history, not just dates and names and places, but problem solving, decision making, communication skills. Because ultimately speaking, what you know isn't important. It's how you share it, how you apply that information. So I love that aspect. I think I'm in a good place with my career, but I wouldn't have been half what I am now without that horrific experience that I wish never happened.
Yeah.
So true with all of us. I mean, not per se that experience, but we take things that are traumatic, that build us. I guess the best way to put it, like a piece of a puzzle we never thought would ever come in our life.
Yeah.
And that
right. Who accounts for that?
Maybe to a different direction or whatever. But it leads us on a path that actually, like what you were saying, it can help us become better and to learn and to share. And hopefully what we've gone through will be communicated well, so that like the next person will be able to say, "Hey."
If you allow it, if you allow yourself to learn, if you allow yourself to share, it's a personal choice, and everyone's different how they make that choice. But hopefully, they make a choice that's healthy for them, the people around them.
Right. But you got somebody talking, DiCesare?
Yes, Jessica, be quiet.
Yeah, Jessica, what the?
Chris is going, yeah, Jessica, what the? But he's hysterical, so he's laughing and clapping. So Chanel said something, and it was really hysterical. I want to share it with you. She said, Naked and Afraid, all new version.
I'm in 20 years ago.
Yeah. Chanel also said, do you ever wish that you never had that experience? But I think you kind of just answered that.
I wish it never did. I wish it never happened, but life happens. Illness happens, car accidents happen, things happen. And so you have a choice to face it or not face it. And I've done my very best, I haven't always succeeded, to try to take that experience from 30 years ago, 35 years ago, and make it a positive net gain where people can talk about coping mechanisms and trusting and jotting down information and reaching out to people around you. So I wish it didn't happen, but it did. And so I made the choice. It took me 25 years. I made the choice to eventually share that in a positive light. And the positive light was I survived, and hopefully you can too.
Right. And that's so important. It really is.
It is. It's the end of the month.
So here is another question. Well,
I missed that one that you just had up there.
Jamie said, I just finished my perspective in history class, and that was such an eye-opener, she said. So,
yeah. Well, that's just that perspective. It's your point of view.
I need sugar.
I remember when I was in high school, our English teacher gave us a quote, and it was, all is joined to yellow eye. In other words, you put on rose-colored glasses, you frame your experience. And that's your perspective on things. The danger of that is your perspective is so different, you don't fit in. Your route doesn't match the people's reality. The cool thing about perspective is it can be shared. And so it's kind of like those Venn diagrams. The goal is to keep your perspective intact and cross over other people on their perspectives and find commonality. Yeah. That's the key. That's cool.
That's cool.
Yeah.
You owe me a Pepsi. 0. Cherry.
I got some flavored water. Is that good? Orange mango?
Maybe.
I don't know.
It depends what's in it.
You don't want that. No, it's not gonna.
Yeah.
Oh, that's what you put up there.
Yeah, that's one of them. Yeah, I've been trying to be conscious about, because we forget to say, share, and like and stuff like that. So it's just one of those things.
Cheer us. Pass this around. We like it.
Look at Chris.
Right there. The bouncing ball.
That's right.
And to visit each of our websites and stuff like that, and make sure you're liking, following, sharing.
Yeah, like this part here. It says, on Facebook, please share and like. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, our YouTube page. Sorry. You can check out more shows like this on WLFE-DB.com.
Perfect.
Yeah, very nice.
DBRadio.
That's right.
.com.
Now, with all the lectures and telling your experience over the years, have you come across someone that had something similar, or something to where they were going through something that just was so traumatic for them? Hearing your experience help them?
Yeah, I hope so. I mean, there have been some experiences I've heard about that have been shared with me that in some ways cross over or mimic or vice versa what I experienced. Mm-hmm. But I have to say I'm very pleased that none of them had the duration or intensity that I had to endure, so I'm very happy for them. I'd rather there was a way that people could experience things in small amounts. You can take back your experience, analyze it, go back again, take precautions. So, no investigation does that for you. Normally, when you're investigating a location, you know where to step, where not to step, what to bring with you, who not to bring with you. You begin to get out, right? You get to get what you should be doing. It's important, whereas sometimes, life hits you in the head. And some people, and a lot of people, most of your listeners probably look for evidence of the paranormal. They look for experiential data. They look for answers to what lies beyond, which is a beautiful human thought. Mm-hmm. I didn't look for it. It just kind of found me. And so you'll find that a lot of times people who don't want it to happen, but it happens to them, those become very interesting cases because they're working not to prove it, but to disprove it. So where someone might say, I want to be on TV, I saw this orb in my room, blah, blah, they make the story up, that's a risk you have. If someone's saying, make it go away, it's happening, that you put some credence to it because they're not happy. They're not doing this for attention. They do not want this to be there. And so what's happening to them? And I recall myself and my friends saying, well, are there drugs in my food? Is there a gas leak in the room? Was it hypnosis? Was it mass hysteria? Where was it a practical joke? I mean, I didn't think it was possible to have this type of haunting occur. I did not think that was possible. And so I began to try to disprove things. In science, you try to look at evidence and rule things out. Investigations, do you rule out your suspects in a criminal investigation until you one or two left prime suspects. Well, after 3 weeks of thinking constantly, and I'm not a rocket scientist, but I'm okay. I work okay. After 3 weeks, I realized there's one answer. There's one answer. Well, there's two. I'm crazy, or there's a ghost in the room. And luckily, folks like John Jeff Unger and Paul Anderson and Ed Sisson and Beth Kinsman and Linda Fox and all my friends, they're able to verify things. We got photographic evidence and the voice on tape and things. And the one thing that struck me as interesting is that I didn't tell people, except for Jeff, at one occasion, what I had seen. My roommate, Paul, came back that night, never having heard what I'd seen that night. I saw that person with the tilted head. And later on in bed, he said to me, "There's someone looking at me." I thought, "Uh-oh, what's this? What do you see?" And he said, "It's a person with tilted head." That was my evidence. I only needed to know it was outside of me and not inside. But I prefer it be in my head. If it's in my head, give me some therapy, a little blue pill, and off I go to sleep, talk to me. But outside, having a dead thing in the room that I couldn't understand, that I was afraid of, that would whisper in my ear as I slept, to me, at that time, it was the worst answer. And people ask me a lot of times, well, did you investigate? Did you talk to it? I threw things at it. I ran. I screamed. I prayed to take it away because I wasn't looking for it. But in my efforts to get rid of it, I actually had more interactions that way. I was able to understand more things. And I'm not proud of everything I did back then. I was a teenage kid trying to survive. I just wanted to have pizza, ice cream, and have a nice time. I don't know. But looking back, one thing was important to me. I wanted to do the right thing in all cases. My friends are being hurt. I want to stop that. I can't function in my class. I want to function in my class. The thing is suffering. I want to stop it from suffering. So in the end, I'm going to talk to this ghost, this spirit entity, and just say, please, you got to find rest. Whatever happens, you have to believe there's still love. It can be forgiven. You have to accept the fact there's a better place for you here because staying here is not working. People are suffering. People are getting hurt. It's not working this way. You've called my name for 3 months. You've been following me around, going after me. You want my help? I'll give it to you. Find rest. And I'm very proud of that. I'm very proud. I didn't try to scream at it.
Absolutely, for a kid, especially.
It shows an unusual wisdom for me at that age.
Well, I like the thought that you're like, okay, I'm either crazy, one, or there's a ghost. The thing is I think that's great is because when you question your sanity, then you're sane because people who are actually crazy
they don't
do not ever think they are crazy.
Well, I like things. And that's my dad. Yeah. My dad had me run marathons. When I was 14, I was running Montreal Marathon, 26 miles. So, and marathons about controlling your environment. You have to make sure you're pacing yourself properly. If your splits on your arm and magic marker, your water intake's important. Everything you do is step by step to make you control your environment properly. And so I learned to control my environment. When I first heard the ghost voice, I don't want to hear it. I put headphones on, so I wouldn't have to hear that thing. So I tried to control my environment, but when you can't control your environment, that's scary. It's like when you go to the first time to a brand new city, you're lost. Where's the subway at? Where are the bathrooms? Where's the bus? I don't know where everything is. You get nervous sometimes, especially at night, because you're not familiar with those places. And once you're back in your own home, near your bed, you're like, because we can control that environment. If someone breaks into your house, they break in your house and they see you at night, and you're always scared now because how that happened. Did they think back again? Did they break the window? Back the windows, the door locked. It freaks you out that your sanctuary is violated. And so for me, my dorm room, it was the bathroom, places where usually you have some privacy and control. And I had no ability to control my environment. And that was a rough thing, especially think about being 19. You know everything. You're invincible. You can't be stopped. The world's my oyster. I got this.
That's true.
And I went from I'm the king of the world to mom. It's just in 0 to 50 seconds. And so, boy, that was an eye opener for me. And people who hear me talk, my friends listening right now will tell you, I really do appreciate being alive. I really do.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, with some of this, it's like you had friends that actually, as you were pointing on, you had other people that were involved in this that got attacked as well or had things happening to them.
Yes.
And that in itself, I can understand being the person going, okay, you're doing this to me. So just here, don't hurt my friends anymore. Don't, I'm one of those people. It's like, hey, if the situation has got to be between you and I, whatever you are, then leave it here. Let's get it finalized. Let's figure it out right here.
Yeah, you're right, Ted. You're absolutely right.
Alone,
Yeah. When the priest blessed the room, it helped me. That spirit respected that and stayed out of my room. But it was angry, wanted to talk to me. So when it went to Beth's room, it didn't say Beth, it said Chris. It was still calling for me, so I felt responsible. When we found her on the floor unconscious, on a floor with the room destroyed, I felt terrible. And she said, I kept calling her name. I kept started throwing things. I just lost consciousness. Whoa. And so people kept hearing this thing call my name wherever they were. And so it was focused on.
That's terrifying.
And if you think about this too, the priest comes in at my request. Paul and I requested the priest come in, did a blessing, and try to help that thing find rest as me too. It seemed to work, but then it goes to my friends to attack them. What's it doing? It's circumventing the blessing. In other words, I can't get to you, but guess what? You're coming to me. And he's right, because my friends are suffering. I can't let them suffer. So It played me. It was so intelligent. It was so wise. It was always a step ahead of me. So I can't touch it. It can touch me. I don't know what it knows. It knows more than I do. So every step of the way, I was outgunned, outmanned, and outmaneuvered. And so eventually what it took, though, was courage. It was courage to say, you know what? I have to believe in myself to handle this. I have to believe that I can, even if I doubt myself, go in and face this thing.
Right.
This is a war. This is a battle to me. I thought I might die in this. In fact, I told my friend Craig before I walked into that room the last time, I said, listen, if something happens to me, I'm serious. You tell my parents this was my choice. I did so with clear mind. I'm not drinking. There's no drugs involved. Not a dare. I went in here to do the right thing. And as long as I know I did the right thing, they'll be sad. They'll at least know that their son was trying to be a good person with all that. I'd just been attacked, and I don't know. It's an interesting thing. I think because of the notoriety of the case over the years, it's become like urban legend in Western New York. And I think because people tend to put credence in older experiences from years ago because you didn't have the ability to change, like Photoshop things and do those things,
Right.
People tend to, I'm not saying it's right, give my words credence. And they'll ask me questions and advice and things. So I'm very important to be careful what I say, because I recognize that to know the ability of my own, people put stock in what I say. So I try to be very careful and be very positive and try to, share caution with them and tell them to, go slow, take your time with everything and just enjoy the ride.
Well, I'm going to kind of go back a little bit with this and kind of bring up something that I've thought for many years since I first heard this experience with you. And I've never brought this to your attention before, as far as I know. We've
no math, right? Because I'm really bad at math.
So we're good. We can share that knowing that both
there are Venn diagrams for us.
No big deal.
Chris was 1 + 1 = 3 back then.
There you go.
He had somebody with him.
0.75, yeah.
One of the parts with this experience of yours and
Bye, honey.
and watching the video and stuff, there was a couple things that kind of set me off in the corner thinking and kind of doing my own kind of investigation with your situation, but on the outside. And of course, I don't have any of your evidence or any of that stuff. So this is all pure just thought, random stuff in the back. With the connection that your mother had found and all that, it however it may be, in my mind and the way I think, and this is purely just my thought, okay? So I'm not saying that everybody has to think, this is what I think. If, let's just say it wasn't yours, it was, let's say another occurrence, okay, another situation. A young man or young lady's in the room, they get attacked by something they can't see, they can't explain, and let's just, they call it a ghost, they call it a spirit, they call it a demon, they call it whatever they call it. And they do some research, they find out this thing is a relative from like great aunt or uncle or whatever, some way down the line. And this thing attacked them and scratched them and, terrified the friends and the family and all that stuff. And then, he brought in a priest, and then all of a sudden you had this conversation and the thing goes away.
Right.
let's just say, for instance, this thing was trying to get your attention. Why was it getting your attention, first off? All right, so it got your attention, whether it thought you could help it cross over or put it to rest or give you a message that you could pass on or whatever the case may be. In the back of my mind, something stood out saying, why would a relative even that far back come to me and attack me instead of just coming to me and talking to me or sending me a message? Why would it attack me? That
because that, number one, that was a long time ago, revolutionary time, right?
Well, yeah, I was how many
Civil War, whatever.
Do you see a couple argue? How many times do siblings argue?
Right.
Yeah. All the time, and I would put forth. I sound like a professor. I put forth. I would know even your family dog for 20 years, even your cat. If they are hurt, if they're injured, they might snap at you. They might scratch you. Not that they don't like you, it's just they're scared. And I really think that this ghost, and by the way, it wasn't my relative. My relatives found the body of the ghost.
Oh, okay.
But this ghost was trying to talk with me, Chris.
Turn it down.
It followed me around. What did I do? I got a priest to get rid of it, basically.
Right.
It made it angry. It's like, I want to talk to you. Why are you pushing me away? I had no clue what was going on. So I think it felt desperate. I think it wanted to talk to me. Maybe it sensed some answer in me, and I just kind of basically pushed it away. I think it was frustrated. I think it was afraid. Yeah. It's been 210 years. I can wait again for 200. I'm not doing this. You need to pay attention to me right now. At the time, I thought it was evil and vicious. Looking back, I don't. I think it was afraid and confused. And listen, even though I said to God, God, I can't do this. Pick someone else. You got the wrong guy. I said it all the time.
Right.
Ironically, God, the ghost, people were right. Lorraine Warren, the Father Charlie Manning, all said that it was up to me, and it was. In the end, what I do, I got the courage to speak to it, to ask it to find rest, so it can make its own choice for itself. That was the answer. And guess what? I think the ghost found rest, found peace. I survived the moment, and so in the end, my faith was kept, and the haunting was ended. And it's funny how sometimes you yourself don't know the answer, even if you do know it. It's trapped inside of you, and it takes that right moment, a person to bring it out of who you are, which again, back to love.
Right.
When someone loves you, it brings a part of you out that's not normally exposed. I sounds terrible, doesn't it? Part of your personality that you always want to share. The trust that's just really. Let's take a commercial break.
You're as bad as the rest of us, by the way.
Let's take a commercial break. No, but you know what I'm saying. In other words,
but that's what I was saying. It's like that's another story that when I was thinking about it, it's like, well, if it's really related to him, then why? And see, I didn't realize that it wasn't related to you. It was just that somebody had
he was a friend of my great 7 times back.
I didn't realize that, so that was my fault. But my mistake. But
you're close.
If it was the other way around, I would have to think, why would they do this? And like Cindy was pointing out, okay, this is like 200 and something years ago. They don't know it's your bloodline. They don't know.
But think about it this way. This way. They treated kids differently. They treated kids differently back then. Like you were seen and not heard. Yep. You know what I mean? They could have been much more used to being violent with kids or, people. Yeah. We have to think of their terms at that time period as well. And it was revolutionary time as well. It was battle.
And also what happened in his life. Now here's the thing. I mentioned you before, just by chance. I ran the Montreal Marathon when I was 14. I ran it 4 times. It's pretty cool, right? Thomas Boyd, I found out 26 years later, was marched as a prisoner of war 2 years before that through the Montreal streets. I found out that he was born
in
Washingtonville, New York. That's 8 miles from my house. So in other words, I grew up in the place where he grew up in. We both walked the same streets, but years apart. I would run by where he was killed, that torture tree area, almost every day for country practice. So it might have been chance that I came across this. He sensed me. It might have been he sensed some familial, generational thing that, oh my gosh, that's Adam Bernard's great whatever. It might have been he said. Lorraine Warren said like attracts like, and she in Twitter, they both told me that these things aren't going to go away. That these things are drawn to you. Be prepared. Accept that you can do it and deal with it, but understand it might happen again. It's not going to just like a valve close itself off, and that scared me too. And so I can speculate, and some of the speculation is pretty cool. John Zaffis has ideas, Tim Shaw has ideas. It's kind of cool to hear what they have to say, people who've been involved for many, many years. But the bottom line is this. The bottom line is I learned that even decades later, you can still learn about yourself and others from things that happened to you 15, 20 years prior. If, again, you allow yourself. We don't like looking back sometimes. It can be painful, but
right.
The more you know about yourself and your world around you, the better prepared you are to live in it and survive it when things take a left turn.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, go ahead.
So, Chris, have you had more experiences since then?
Oh, yeah. Again, I'm like reluctant. I'm always like, ugh. I didn't want to ever see a ghost again after that. I mean, if you have a boyfriend or girlfriend in high school and they beat the crap out of you, I'm done for a while. I don't need my life right now. I'm going to live my life, pursue my dreams, live my best life by myself, Right. So for me, that's so negative. I don't want any more of that. But within weeks, I went with my parents down to Williamsburg, Virginia, Colonial Williamsburg, where they have the restoration of the buildings. And I went to the places where we saw the blacksmiths and things like that. And
yeah.
It was nice. And we went to this one building, this meeting house, where not long before that, President Reagan, Margaret Thatcher, the G8 had met at a summit. My mom knows a lot of history, so she wanted to be posed by this table. So I'm posing for Mom. You have the old 110 cameras back then, click, click. And I'm posing. It says smile, so I smile. And as I'm smiling, I hear a clock, like a big grandfather clock go boom, boom, 3 times, boom. I'm like, what? It's not 3 o'clock. And then I hear a woman scream, like, ah! This woman runs past me on fire, her hair. I'm like, ah! I'm like, so in the picture, I'm like this. Right? And so when the picture came back about 3 weeks later, something waiting for double pictures, 4x6 prints in Rhode Island, whatever that worked, remember that? Anyway, my mom's like, what's in the picture? We can see there are these ghost clocks. There are 3 clocks floating, all at 3 o'clock. And a woman, you see the figure with her hair like behind her, like on fire in front of me. I'm like, I told you. So I didn't like that. And, relatives, friends that read my aura, pick my future things. And I tried to be polite about it, but it wasn't something I wanted to do. There's always that tall person that's like basketball, the arty person that's like to draw. There's always I was the kid that could see the ghost and didn't even want to. And that's okay. I made my choice for myself because I wanted to someday have a family. And I didn't want to have my kids fall victim to the same thing. I know it was a generational curse. I don't know if it was I don't want them hurt. And so I tried to put that in a box and put away for many, many years for my family. I didn't know if I should tell them or not tell the kids. If you tell the kids, they might say, oh, that happened to me. If you don't tell them that they're not ready for it, it happens to them. And so I would tell them bedtime stories about dragons and princesses and knights and tailors and teachers and sailors and all different stories. But it was my story disguised as these little parables. So they could solve the situation without feeling there were ghosts. So it wasn't until Sci-Fi School Spirits came out, the Sci-Fi show in 2012, my kid's like, Dad, that story, that was you? I'm like, that was me. So I wanted to make sure they can problem solve without feeling pigeonholed to being the ghost boy's son.
Right.
Once they're okay with that, I knew it was okay to talk. It was okay to safely do that and let them know this is who Dad is and sorry. But they thought it was kind of cool that Dad was on TV and a ghost boy dude and things like that. So I became cooler, surprisingly.
Cool, Chris.
Yeah, who knew, right? Well, go figure. Keep those odds.
Everybody's talking now, Cindy, about the statement that you made, which is really cool, about how kids and women back then were treated differently from the men. And I just ran into a
very true
situation that I'm kind of upset me. I was upset for a couple days, and I haven't brought it out. But anyways, it back in the days, way back when, children and women were treated pretty much like, you're seen and not heard. I mean, it wasn't just children, it was the woman too,
Oh, absolutely.
We're treated really bad at times. And it's just a part of our history that we're not proud of, or we shouldn't be proud of, I should say. So
yes, Steve.
I have run across that same situation, like I said, 2 days ago, and it came.
What happened? Whose ass do I need to kick?
Well, it came from a family member that said that women and children are property, and I was.
Oh, bitch! Let me teach them some new shit.
Yeah, I was like, I don't know where that idea came from.
Was it your dad? I'm just kidding.
And just by that look, you get your answer. And
yeah.
I just said, you know what, you have a lot to learn, and you're older than I am, and I left it at that. You don't. I've never believed it wholeheartedly in my lifetime, and even with the stories in the history of our past, I've never once felt that another human belonged to another human. That's not the way it is. We don't own.
Listen, these kids are mine.
I'm
just kidding.
But I mean, it's sad that there are people that still think that way.
Hello, police.
Yeah.
Psychic Cindy. Yeah, Western New York. No, I can't talk now. She's looking at me, but I'll call later. Okay.
I didn't hear who he answered, who he said it was.
There was nobody. It wasn't the police. Everything's great. I would just move forward. Not the police.
It's Kathy DeGraw, she made a statement that in any society, just because it may not have been documented doesn't mean that it didn't happen.
Right.
True. And we are finding that with, everything. I mean, we go back in our own history and we can dig up things that we never thought happened, or, it's scary. I mean, and not to bring up another topic that has been hot for the past 10 years in our society today, but
let's do it.
And I'm not racist. I'm not prejudiced in any way, but I don't think we should be tearing down statues and getting rid of things that are a part of our history, because it will remind us we should leave them as a reminder of the way it was.
What can go wrong? That's right. What can go wrong is a reminder. Say, be careful. This could happen again. So learn your history.
Right. And I think that.
But I think it's because you're talking about statues. We're talking about things like the Civil War, where to this day there is ingrained racism. So there are certain things where I can understand, like, why are these things so iconic? Why are people still being treated with racism? With complete separatism. They're not allowed. White people are completely treating black people in a different way than they should. This is an issue. And if it's because your iconology is there and it's being reminisced day in and day out, and you have to see it, and then you are confronted with that racism that is still ingrained in that society, I'm sorry, Teddy, I have to disagree with you. When there is something that to this day, how many 100 years later, that 150 years later, that we are still perpetuating racism in a way that is bullshit, because every man, woman, and child are free and equal in this country. Yet in the South, especially where they still have these goddamn statues that support the Civil War and all of their racist ideals, you can't get me to fall on that. Yes, I love history. You and I both know that. But when it comes to something where we are keeping society down and perpetuating it, I have to disagree.
Yeah, see, for me,
what's that, Chris? I didn't hear you. Did he say I agree?
See, I myself, I just don't. It's like the books that we have in school. They get rid of certain books and stuff.
We're lied to even as children with the books that we're told to read, which are our history books. Unfortunately, Chris, I'm sorry.
I believe that everybody is free. That's the way it should be. I'm Irish descent, and we were one of the very first races that came over here that were treated badly, and we were
and Chinese, the Italians, the Irish, absolutely.
I get all that, but I would never look at a statue of something from Irish past that was put up because of an English lord that had Irish slaves. I would never say tear that down, and the reason for that is because I want that to pass on to my family, to say, you see this statue? This statue represents other people putting down other people.
It represents hatred of a race.
Exactly, it does, and that's why that statue is there. It's a reminder, not just for us, but for them, that they are never going to be able to do that again.
But the problem is it is still done. What you're saying is different because Irish are white. Let's be honest here.
I get that, Cindy. I get your passion. I understand what you're saying. I get that. But
unfortunately, black people are still treated especially in the South. They're treated a certain way.
White discriminate and beat on each other. Black to black do the same thing. And it
absolutely.
So, I'm sorry I brought that up because now we went to a different direction, but I get it and I understand your passion just like me. So unfortunately, we went on. There's a fence between us on it, and that's okay. I still love you.
I think I'm the fence.
I still love you too.
I don't know what that's about. I'm just gonna kind of shelter in place. Just shelter down for a second.
Listen, I've blown up the chat. I think everybody's like, "Whoa, Cindy." All right, let me see.
We all have our own opinions, and that's what's great about America. That's what's great about
absolutely.
It's one of the things that made America. We have to remember that we all came here to escape some really terrible things that happened in the homeland, and we came here to start anew. And unfortunately, a lot of that stuff came with us from our homeland, and it happened all over again. And it's a vicious cycle. And tomorrow something else will happen, but we'll get through it. And as long as we can love each other and we can see and understand that shouldn't happen again, we'll be fine. We'll be fine. Things will happen. We'll get through it. We just have to trust in each other that it'll happen. And the ones that don't don't want to be a part of that, you throw them in a in a wood chipper, and then they're done. The pigs eat them, and we're all good. So it's sorry.
What is he doing? I'm reading the chat.
I don't know. I think I hear my other phone ringing.
Chris is doing that whole. What did he say?
Yeah. So
did he just? Did he just really say that?
I'm sorry. I'm reading in the chat. It was all hot and heavy in the chat, and it wasn't about racism. It's about domestic violence.
Yeah, domestic violence is bad too. No matter which way you look at it, it's something that needs to go. There's a lot of things like that. There are still people that are being hit. There are people being killed, like Chris was saying. That one was it a student or a friend that
they found her body 3 days ago.
Yeah, and social distancing. If you're stuck in a home with somebody that's violent and you can't reach out, you can't find it because of
no meds and no release. So.
Yeah, it's totally crazy. And this is something like this. It isn't funny, but I found it kind of humorous in some sense that the whole thing where essentials, you're an essential worker, you're an essential business, and the one place that they kept open that I felt that they shouldn't have kept open was liquor stores. And I was like, why did they leave liquor stores open? And especially in New York, because a liquor store to me is not essential. But some people had come back and said, well, if I don't have liquor, somebody's going to die. It's because they felt, hey, they're going to be locked up with somebody for so long that, they needed the liquor to deal. And I'm like, well, then that just goes to show you that in 30 days of being locked up in the same house with somebody, one of you needs to go. That means there's who's there. That means get a shrink. I'll give you a number.
That's so funny. So they're talking about domestic violence Teddy, you as a child even had domestic violence issues at your home, right?
Yeah.
I had domestic violence at my home growing up, and as an adult, there had been issues as well. And listen, not for nothing, Steve Barry, I believe a man can be abused as well.
Yeah.
So I don't agree with what you were saying that Ohio doesn't believe that a woman can be an abuser. That's bullshit.
Yeah.
So listen, that's another soapbox I could get on, my friend. But this, I wanted to talk about Chanel, though. She said, Cindy, my grandfather was a murderer in the 1960s. He blew up a black rights activist headquarters in North Carolina and served 1 year for each person he killed. He came out and was still the same evil person and ran the KKK and was a grand wizard. He died a horrible death, and I hope he is rotting in hell. Do you see me the same way based on my family? Absolutely. You want to know why, Chanel? because you have one of the biggest hearts and you're the sweetest people that I know.
Yeah.
So that doesn't change anything. Do you know what I did when I went to North Carolina? I went to one of my friends' houses and
She threw her in a wood chipper.
What's that?
She threw her in a wood chipper. Sorry. No, I was just trying to be funny.
No, they brought somebody over who was in the KKK. So I just was being my own self. And Renee was telling me, don't talk about it. Don't say anything. And I'm like, oh, so, and I was causing problems. Renee's like, we gotta go now.
No, with you, the way you are, no, I can't.
Oh, listen, I was 18 and I was the same way. I was all piss and vinegar, let me tell you.
I actually believe you've calmed down a hair, but just a hair. Not much.
I don't know about that.
But yeah, you know, abuse comes in a lot of ways, physically, mentally. There's so many different things that have happened. And, you know, as you mentioned, coming from an abusive home, it's not just the home. It didn't happen with just family. It happened in school. It happened, you know, when I got out of school. When you're raised a certain way and you have to conform to what, because it's your family, and you don't feel that that's who you are or a way you should live, and then you find out who you truly are, and you want to be that butterfly, and you want to go off and fly away and do your own thing. Being a gay man in a home that was Roman Catholic, that was very strict, that was you can't be.
Well, your father was Roman Catholic. Your mom was not.
No, but we still had to. Hey, let's go back. You know, the father ran the roost. You know, we were supposed to.
Absolutely.
We didn't have an opinion. That's the way it was said to us all the time. You don't have an opinion.
I agree, Steve.
You don't have this. Go to your room. You're going without dinner. You're doing this. You know, and so there was a lot of things that growing up that kind of build you, and it's sort of like that whole thing with experiences that we have through life. It builds us. It builds our character. It makes us better people, or in some cases, it makes us a worse person, because there are people that take that to another level. And I think my experiences and what I went through, and people have asked me, would you change anything that you went through in your life? And I honestly can say no, because that's what made me the person that I am today. The loving,
I agree.
Hearing, sharing, wanting to, you know, embrace the world. You know, I still have that whole thought process, and I get yelled at all the time about it. It's like, I truly believe that people are good. I really do believe that. There's something in them. They are good. There are times where they're not, but we can help them. You know, it may be naive, it may be something that's not true, but I still hold that the basic core of an individual is still good. You know, but I also learned from my grandmother. It's like, we are animals. This is what she taught me. We are animals. We are we came from the earth, we will go back to the earth. We are animals. Okay.
Yeah.
We just so happen to have an intelligence that sometimes isn't so intelligent.
That's right. Correct. Well, this is the thing is, I mean, think about it this way. If we didn't grow up and see the things that we saw and participated in, we might not have grown the strength that we'd had, whether it was Chris, whether it was Teddy, whether it was myself. We all had crazy things that happened to us when we were younger. And this is the thing is, I mean, if I hadn't seen those things growing up, perhaps I wouldn't have stopped a drug dealer from beating up his girlfriend in the apartment above me, right? And threatening him every single time that I heard him trying to knock her around, right? And knowing that there's a little kid in it. If I didn't do that, if I didn't stand up for that, who the hell am I? You know what I mean? When one person doesn't stand up for another person, then there's a problem in society, right?
Right. Bring back the Cookie Monster.
Yeah.
I just wanted the cookies. I wanted cookies so bad from McDonald's. And listen, I've been doing really good. And I just wanted cookies because, you know, your girl is needing some cookies or else she's going to cut some people.
There you go. Do you know who
But Jesse went there for me and they don't have any cookies.
Chris is missing the count. He needs the count.
I have to count. He's in a box in my closet. I can't get them all out. I got Grover, Cookie Monster, and Kermit. I got Snuffleupagus, the count, and somebody else. They're.
I love Snuffleupagus.
But I can't go get them. I'm not wearing any pants, so I can't move.
1. 2.
We've sat here.
3 cookies.
You're done. Anyways.
This is way too much fun.
I know. We've sat here for an hour and 45 minutes, and we have covered a lot of topics. We really have. Yeah. We've watched Cindy explode. We have watched Cookie Monster. We've had our Sesame Street episode. We've had all that. So we even had Godzilla at one point, which I forgot to look for his noise. We have had a lot of fun here. I don't want anybody to go away from this tonight thinking, that any of us are. Let me just put it this way: we're not anything other than love. We want people to be happy. We want people to be safe.
We are the world.
Oh my God! Here we go. And
we are the future.
Go ahead, Chris.
I want to be loved. I want to be loved. I want to be loved.
That's right. One love.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I mean, just
I'll just keep singing songs that say love, whatever. And then hopefully they get stuck in your guys' heads and not mine.
Oh, see that. Just know that as a society, there's always going to be something bad. There's always going to be something coming to destroy our day, and make it hurt a little worse than it was yesterday, or whatever the case may be. There's always going to be something, and we have to remember that we can't control everything that happens, even though we want to control it.
Mm-hmm.
And we have to be satisfied with saying it's going to happen, and there's absolutely nothing I can do to control it, but I'm going to put up something to where I'm not going to let it ruin my day. I'm not going to let it put me in a place where I can't come back stronger, more powerful, more loving, more caring, and that's what's important. And it's just, we have to remember that, and hopefully that made sense.
Wait, what did you say? Can you repeat it?
No.
A large fry and a Coke.
I don't remember what.
And second take, go. I'm just kidding. All right, there's tons of things in the chat. I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. I mean, all I'm saying is that more or less, we've had a great discussion tonight of a whole bunch of different topics. If you're going to walk away from us tonight, think of one thing. Think of love. Think of you're not alone. There's always someone you can reach out to. There's always someone that can listen.
Thank you, Kathy.
Listening is important. And even if that's the only thing we can do is listen, we'll do it.
Nice. Oh my gosh. Wait, so Barry was he's like, there goes Godzilla. But he was like, Blue Oyster Cult, Godzilla.
Yeah. So
Jamie Gamber is asking if anyone has seen the new Paranormal 911. I do not have cable, so I do not know. I have not seen it.
Did you actually watch any of those paranormal shows, if you don't mind me asking?
Yes.
Chris, you and me, baby, are the same.
If a friend of mine is on, then I watch.
Yeah.
Jack Ken is on, if Tim Shaw is on, if someone I know is on the show, then I'll watch it for my friends. But other than that, I don't usually do that.
Oh, so you watched Cindy then?
Yes. Well, I said my friends.
Wait, I haven't been on a show other than this one.
An hour to 2 minutes to be funny for the first time. It was left. The pressure was on. Oh my God.
That was so funny. Chris is my friend. He's joking, everybody. Do not get on Chris's ass because they tend to be very protective of me, Chris.
Well, no, I mean, it was fun when we did okay, so most of it was me.
Mark Kai's is awesome. That's why Jamie said she's watching it because of Mark Kai's.
Great guy.
There was one little tiny thing of Cindy in Ghost Nation. Just you could just see her and hear her quick, but it was a great episode.
You could hear my voice a little bit, and you could see. Teddy said he could see my blonde hair off to the right of the screen in the screened-in porch. And the funny part is, I was watching it with one of my friends, and he's like, "I heard you, Cindy," and I was like, "Yay!"
Yeah, because she was so depressed. She was like,
well, it wasn't that. I had talked to my girlfriend before we even did it, and I said, "Listen," I said, "I don't even know if I'll be on there, and I can have her back me up." She would say this, because I did state this before we ever even did the show. I had just come back from Gettysburg. I had 2 days. I talked to Valerie, and I said, "Listen," I said, "this is very fun. This is very exciting, but this is the thing is, I may not even be seen. They may edit me out, because there's not a reason for me to literally be in the scene." And then I came home and I said exactly the same thing. I could be edited out, because there's not a reason for me to be there.
Right.
And thank you, bad editing guys. I'm just kidding. It was their way to keep me in. They all liked me there.
They did.
We had a lot of fun.
Yes, we did have a lot of fun.
Right, everybody was so nice.
Chris, thank you so much for coming on tonight and being with us. We do appreciate it. I mean, and putting up with all of them. I mean,
our shenanigans and your shenanigans.
Yeah.
We make great shenanigans together.
I love it. And that should be our campaign slogan. But I love it. It's especially in times like this when you can't see your friends too often. This is not quite as good as being next to you, but it's nice to hear your laughter, to hear your voices. I like you. I love you. It's family. And I suppose when they ask the question, would you do things all over again? Which didn't happen. I guess maybe I wouldn't, because if I did do things differently, I'm gonna be here. I might have the friends I have. So I want to be positive and say, you know what, this is a blessed life right now. I get to come on the show with you, laugh with you, know you're my friends, and hopefully share the same respect back to you. And I appreciate it.
Yeah. I wish I could hug you, Chris, just like I wish I could hug Teddy and John. I know. Air hugs.
Oh, watch it. Not there.
Shh.
I love the fact that people come on the show, because I never know what's going to happen. And Chris, you
that's true.
Us, and you really do. You play in the sandbox, and you're willing to share your life, which is great. And it's I don't know. You got to be like the top person that we bring on the show. You've got to be. You got to be.
Listen,
that was cute.
Listen, keep the money. It's fine. I don't need it back. Just keep it. It's fine.
Oh, okay. And Chris, on a serious note, once this whole thing is over with, we will get Buddy down there.
That'd be great. They would love that.
Kathy,
want that to happen.
Yes.
I think we should. I can't wait for it to happen. I want that to happen too.
Right.
I can't wait till the schools can open back up so we can do that.
Yeah, there's a shirt. See, Kaplan Academy Pride. I'm thinking.
There you go.
There you go.
Aw, cute.
In case my kids see this, some of my students tomorrow have seen this tonight, I want to make sure I set up my school. So here's the Kaplan.
There you go.
That's right.
Yeah.
They said don't F with Cindy. You just said that, and I've been having bad language, and I was just about to say exactly what Kathy said. We know what Kathy said, because I normally would say it.
Yeah.
And then Steve said, never F with Kathy. Jason Marble says, that's exactly right, Chris. And then Barry says, Christopher DiCesare is awesome.
I'm setting a theme. I'm not going to mess with Kathy.
Yeah. Don't F with us. We'll whoop asses. And I'll put your name on, instead of my lipstick case, it'll be all the asses I've kicked. Listen, I used to fight boys and men. I'm okay with it.
Wasn't that like a band, Boys to Men?
Yeah.
No,
Boys to Men.
That was
BDBD.
That was out of sync. Oh no town. I forget the names of the places. I don't know.
O Town. Holy shit! I haven't heard that one in a while. I'm sure parents everywhere are ready to throw kids out.
Oh, I'm sure too.
Kathy, girl. Oh my gosh. Listen, Chris, I appreciate you so much more because you are a teacher.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah.
I chose not to go that route as my profession for a reason. I know my limitations. I might hurt kids. I know my limitations. Now the problem is that I have children who are not listening to me. So then I take away all of their electronics.
Yeah, she's back at it again. Yeah.
I take away.
Green. Now that's the kid. Leave the kid alone. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm still live. I gotta go. Sorry.
Well, the passion that Cindy has, guys, you can't fake that. You really can't.
No, you can't. I'm an Aries. Oh, Jet, I'm a sinist. So that's what Jet told me today. I'm a sinist. I'm not a racist. I'm a sinist.
Nice. Well, we're going to get out.
I categorize people by their sign. Isn't that super cute? Listen, we talk about really important things at my house. My children understand all of the things that can be possible. Racism, No, we don't have that at my house. We have, you're a sinist, Mom. At least the kid is thinking. At least he's thinking. I know.
All right, so guys, thank you so much for joining us all here at Paratalk Radio.
I love you guys. I miss you guys.
And she's so wound up because she doesn't get to touch us and hug us and squeeze us and call us George. So, we have to put up with her on the video and the radio like that because we love her anyway. She's part of the family. Guys, don't forget that next Monday is going to be a very, 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 very special show. We have Mr. Dave Schrader here from the Holzer Files. He will be with us. He's
nice. We got him back.
So, lead investigator for the Holzer Files. He will be here with us, and we're going to be talking with him. And it's just going to be a great show. And Cindy, what do you got coming up? Anything? You got any lives happening?
Yes, I'm supposed to have done lives for the last 2 weeks, but I have just been very overwhelmed not in a way like I'm overwhelmed and in my head, not like that. I've been very grounded, but my energy, I'm just so drained with all of the energy going on. So, and I had a death in the family. So it's been pretty rough the last 2 weeks. So I took some time off and I'm ready to get back at it. So Wednesday night and Sunday, I should be, so you guys keep watch. I should be going live those days minimally. I do want to incorporate some tarot, so
there you go. Cindy, make sure
I do have some videos
so that I can post it on the WLFE site. I'd like to post it on
the
web.
Say that again, honey.
Make sure you send me that when you're going to do your lives so that I can put it on the calendar for WLFE, please.
Yes, I will do that, honey.
Yeah, do that so I have it. Chris, what do you got going on? You got anything cool going on?
I got some hamburger helper on the stove. I'm going to get to in a few minutes. But yes, on Thursday, I'm going to be the guest on a show. Some guy, Western New York, seems cool. Ned, Ted, Teddy, but I'm looking forward to his show.
Yeah. He will.
Teddy, boo-boo. I want to be on that one too, Teddy.
So Chris will be on Talk with Teddy Thursday night at 11 o'clock. It's past his bedtime. He'll have his pajamas on, but it'll be fun.
Pajamas. Those are cool.
I love PD pajamas.
We won't be panning down because we don't know if he sleeps naked or not, so we won't be panning down. We'll be. What's he doing?
Closing my blinds.
Okay, he's closing.
Way too much. A little concerned right now. Not upset, just concerned.
Okay, so yes, that will happen. And I do want to announce this because Cindy said hers and I didn't get a chance to. Tomorrow, Tuesday night, for Talk with Teddy, we have Mr. Rick McCullum, who is a stuntman for Hollywood movies. The list is amazing, and how many people he's worked with, from everything from Jason, the Friday the 13th movies,
fun,
to Hatchet, to he actually worked with what's the karate guy?
Karate Kid?
No, older
Bruce
guy,
Lee.
long hair. Chuck Norris. He worked on one of
The beard.
Yes, the beard. And so the guy has had a lot of work. He's played in a lot of movies and some stunts. He will be on the show tomorrow night at 11 o'clock on Talk with Teddy.
Fun.
So make sure you tune in. And with every show that we have, whether it's Paratalk Radio or Talk with Teddy or Readings with Cindy, make sure that you share, like, and anything Chris does. If you see Chris's name on a video or
absolutely,
go back there and say, "Hey, how you doing, you schmuck?" No, I mean say, "Hey, how you doing, Chris? We love you."
Listen, I love Chris so much. He knows so much that I love him, and I cannot wait till I can see you in person and give you a big hug.
Yeah. Well, Gettysburg.
I just love your energy, Chris.
They contacted me today. They're still hopeful that it's going to happen.
Yeah, hopefully.
And
yeah,
hopefully things will be where they need to be so that we can all see each other and give a big threesome hug. And Teddy just give you a big teddy bear hug.
One time at band camp, there was. Well, I'll see you later.
Chanel says I need a nap. I don't need no nap, girl. I am so wound for sound right now, and I haven't even had any caffeine since earlier today. And I didn't even drink all of my coffee.
Oh, and for those that
thank you, Kathy,
have missed Paratalk Radio with some of our horror friends like
Mungie, our horror friends,
Stitches, any of those horror clowns that we have had on the show.
Our horror friends.
Past. Mr. Stitches, the Beast, will be on Talk with Teddy on Wednesday night, so you can come and
wait. What?
Yep, he will be there Wednesday night. She gets so.
Why isn't he on our show?
Because I have to reach out to them. We're busy. Paratalk Radio is always done like a month in advance, or 2 weeks, or even 3 months in advance. But Mungie is the one.
Wait, when is Stitches? When are you doing Stitches? Next Wednesday, or this Wednesday?
This Wednesday, dear. This Wednesday.
I want to do that. Oh, so they were asking me. I forgot to mention this. So I do Psychic Cindy specials.
You said do. You said do.
2 questions for $15 on Tuesdays. $5 Friday, where I pull a few cards for you. And I'm doing some more stuff. I'm trying to pay attention to my
guys. Support her as much as you can. In this time of need, I see a lot of musicians online. They'll have like a thing for Venmo or PayPal, where they sit down, they play for an hour online, and they have this thing up there for tips. Please watch them. Throw $5 their way. I mean, this is how these people are surviving. It's unfortunate, but that's the way. Tips are important right now when you can't.
Are important. Listen, I'm a single mom. It's the truth. I mean, and this is what my job is. I can't do in-person readings. I can't do my notary business at all. It's tough right now, to be honest, for not just me. It's tough for a lot of people right now. Right. And unfortunately, because I'm self-employed, I don't get to collect anything like unemployment right now. So.
Right. All right, guys. We'll get out of here then.
Pass us around. We like it.
Yep, and make sure you check out Chris's books. Now, Chris, what was the name of
video too?
Where are they? Where can they get them?
Well, you can get them at bookstores, or you can go to my Facebook page. That's Cool Say Hello, or realghostboy.com. That's, I believe, my website, or CD Productions. Well, let me know, and I can sign one for you.
There you go. So yeah, check out Chris's stuff. Buy one of his books. He's a teacher out of work.
No, I'm working. It's just from far away.
Just from far away?
Right. From behind you.
I know. We want Mungie.
I actually interviewed a radio personality for Intercom. Like I said, I was telling you earlier before we went live, Billy the Kid from WBE up here in Rochester. I interviewed him last night, and he was saying that it's been so difficult where here's a building with 5 radio stations in it, and there's only 3 people in the building. And so basically everybody had to do like what we're doing. We have to do our stuff from home. And you have to shift everything there because it's just social distancing and to be safe and all that other stuff. So there's
who were you talking to from WBEE?
Billy the Kid.
Oh, Billy. Yeah.
Yep. So, but
I'm so upset about Jeremy.
Yeah. Well, we didn't even discuss that because that's not something I wanted to discuss. I want to talk about, I am too, but that Jeremy is okay and he's happy where he is. So
Did he go back home to Texas?
As far as I know, no, he's still here and he's working for a friend or an uncle or something. So he's content, I guess is the best way to put it. And he's working.
Wait, where did you say he was working?
For an uncle or a cousin or somebody up here. So he's content. So,
good.
But all right, guys, we've been trying to say we're going to get out of here for 10 minutes. We stalled
I
enough.
love you, Chris. I love you, Teddy Poo Poo. I love you, John.
I love you guys. We will talk with you. Are we all doing the hearts? There we go.
Yes. I love you guys so much.
All right, you guys, take care. All right.
And our fans. I love you guys.
Bye.
Bye, Chris.
Bye, Chris. I love you.
All right, Cindy, are you ready for our outro?
Yes. Teddy, I need to talk to you so don't just, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Gotcha. So remember, folks, wherever you are, wherever there is darkness, there is always
the light.
Thank you for listening to Paratalk Radio with Ted Wolf and Psychic Cindy. Catch us next Monday for another fantastic guest. Please check out our show as well as others on the WLFE DB Radio Network. And remember, like, follow, and share with everyone.
Join us at WLFE-DB.com for upcoming shows and so much more.